Thank you so much for the encouraging response. I wish you would run for office in this country. And so in the interest of time, I'm just going to move forward to open the floor, if you don't mind standing there. Okay, so we are pressed with time, so I'm going to take 3 questions. This is your last chance to ask the President questions, because after the session is closed, he will be talking exclusively with the media. So please, the 3 persons who would like to, yes, you and you and you. Okay, 3 of you.
First, thank you very much, President Dijsselbloem. My name is Hayashi, in charge of the lecture of the EU-Japan Economic Relations at the Keio. So I have some Dutch students, and so I should say thank you. And, I have 2 questions on the economic policies, one for short term and the long term. Short term, as you pointed out, the investment plan, the EFSI, is going on, and the, I could see any kind of discrepancies between the European Commission, who represents the whole interest of the EU, and the Euro group, which represents the interest of the Eurozone countries. So I'm very glad. And the, my question, first question is, in the coming 6 months, how do you work together with the European Commission and the Euro group? I know that Claude Juncker was former president of the Euro group, so I think that will be a good collaboration, but which one will work mainly to reach to the goal of the, so this is my first question. And second question for long term, as you mentioned, structural reform and the aging society. So I'm interested in the until 2020, how do you implement the idea of the Europe to 2020, and also the research development project of the Horizon to 2020? I'm interested because in Japan also we have the time perspective of the until 2020 when the Olympic Games will be held for the such structural reform. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Shall
I answer it first?
I think we should collect the questions
then
first.
I shall make notes.
Okay. I've made notes too, so I'll help you. Okay, second question, please.
My name is Yuzawa. I cannot speak English well, sorry. My question is that how do you feel about hedge fund? Simple question. Thank you.
Okay, and the last one I think comes from my student from Sciences Po.
Yes, thank you. I'm a European student in Keio. And my question is, as you mentioned, elections are coming in Greece, and the far-left party Syriza has been given winner of the elections and could be elected to rule over the country. What would be, and some of its leaders have been heard saying that they would refuse to keep implementing structural reforms in the country. What would be the reaction of the Eurogroup to a democratic refusal to commit with structural efforts in a country of the Eurozone?
Are you okay with the first?
Yeah,
okay.
I wrote them all down. Thank you. The first question is about the relation and who does what within Europe. Europe has, certainly looking at it from the outside, quite complex institutions. But we have within the European Union a group of 19 who have the euro as a currency, and they have a stronger commitment to each other. They work together very closely in economic terms, in terms of fiscal policies, etc. And that's why we have the Eurogroup. Now, the Commission has very important responsibilities, which have also been put in legislation. And the Commission, for example, assesses whether we stick to our own rules. Some of the rules are for all of Europe. And on top of that, the 19 Euro countries have even more commitments to each other. And the Commission, the European Commission, also makes sure that we abide by these rules. So the Commission is always part of our meetings. 2 commissioners join every meeting of the Eurogroup, and they advise us, and they say, well, most of you have stuck to the rules, but some of you have to do more. And then we discuss that among each other, we pressurize colleagues to do more, or we discuss it with the Commission, etc. So there's a very strong cooperation. Also, the Commission, of course, has the possibility to take initiatives. The Juncker plan, the investment plan, was an initiative by the new Commission. And it is discussed in this case because it has to do with all of the European countries. It is discussed in the ECOFIN, where all the European finance ministers meet. So this works very, very well. We have a close cooperation. You also asked about EU 2020 and the research initiatives. My point always is that we tend to discuss, when we talk about budgetary policy, fiscal policy, we only talk about the little extra or the little less. We always talk about the marginal side of the budget. But within that budget, there are major choices to be made. And I think major choices that we have to make is to make sure that we invest much more in research and development and in education. We've been quite determined in my country throughout the crisis to keep the investment levels in education and research at the same level. Actually, we've increased it a little, even over the course of the crisis years. But in some countries, they have not made that choice, and the spending on education and research has dropped. So we have to pick that up again coming out of the crisis. It's crucial that we invest in research and development, certainly for aging populations, for aging countries. Productivity and investing in innovation is crucial. Then there was a very brief question about hedge funds. How do I feel about hedge funds? Sometimes they do very good work. Sometimes companies are unable to restructure and modernize themselves, and the hedge fund makes sure that it happens. And sometimes they have a very destructive role. Their influence at the moment is a lot less than it was 10 years ago. Some of the Dutch pension funds are now actually no longer using hedge funds because of the results. The hedge funds have not done so well over the last year. Finally, on Greece, this is of course a big issue at the moment in Europe. The Greeks are having an early election on the 25th of January. I cannot guess who is going to win the election. I think that we stand ready, as a Eurogroup stands ready to work with whoever is the new government. The current program, what we call the second Greek program, has been lengthened a little. It now expires on the 1st of March, which means that before the 1st of March, we have to talk to the new government, whomever it is. We have to talk to them about the finalization of this program and what happens next. We've already discussed some possibilities, and of course it matters whom you talk to. So it will depend who is the new government on how the talks will take place. But there is a clear understanding within the Eurozone. If a country requires support, we are ready to give that support, but it will be on conditions. And the conditions are not to punish a country, and conditions are not to make it even more difficult, but the conditions have one aim only, and that is to allow a country to become economically and financially independent again. And Greece has done a lot of work, will have to do more to become a competitive country, a competitive economy. So whomever is the new government, they still have to make sure that as soon as possible, Greece is once again financially independent, able to finance itself. And therefore, the honest story to the electorate, also in Greece, would be, look, these are my plans, and I will also tell you how I finance them. Because that's crucial for any politician. It's not just about promises, it's also about how to get there. And that would also be true for Greece. So to all Greek politicians, I hope they have a wonderful campaign, I hope they have a fair election, but also to be fair about how to get there, how to finance your plans, how to make those true. From the Eurogroup perspective, whoever wins the elections, we will work with them and maintain the Eurozone intact. Because that is, any speculation about Brexit is completely off limits as far as I'm concerned. All of our countries have put a lot of political and economic capital in the economic recovery and maintaining in that process the Eurozone intact. And that's what we will do in the future. I'm absolutely determined there.
Thank you very much, President Dijsselbloem.
Thank you.
And now I'd like to kindly invite His Excellency, Mr. Radink Jan van Vollenhoven, to give his concluding remarks.
President Saike, colleagues and Minister, I will be very brief because much has been said already. I will not attempt to summarize what the Minister has said, but let me mention a few striking points. Number one, the Eurozone is now stronger than it was before the crisis. Much progress has been made and will still be made. Two, Europe is working on a comprehensive, coherent growth strategy, sound monetary policy, sound fiscal policy, high-quality investment, and ambitious and well-designed smart structural reforms. Three, what I picked up from the speech, healthy public finances remain a top priority for obvious reasons, and implementing effective structural reforms are a key challenge for all of us that will continue to be pursued. Four, both Japan and Europe and the Eurozone face significant challenges, but at the same time offer important opportunities for cooperation and growth. There is an optimistic message there as well. Finally, let me thank Keio University very much indeed. When we designed the program of the Minister, Keio University came quite naturally to us as the place for this speech because of our long ties, because of Mr. Fukuzawa and his ties to the Netherlands, and he figures prominently. I look at him every day on your 10,000 yen bill, and we are very happy that he is there and that we have such strong ties of friendship with Keio and through Mr. Fukuzawa. Like in many areas with Japan and the Netherlands, there are many areas of common cultural interest and common history between the Netherlands and Japan, and we are grateful for it. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. This brings us to the end of the session. We would like to thank the President one more time and also for the audience for your participation.